baby, catch a charge. Extra large and extra hard. Put this cookie right in your face. Swipe your nose like a credit card. Hop on top, I wanna ride. I do a giggle, I'm kinda wild. Look at my mouth, look at my thighs. Sweat is wet, I'm sick of guys. Tie me up like I'm surprised. Let's role play, I wear disguise. I want you to park that Big Mac truck right in this little garage.
Get your boots, hang your coat, for this wet and cushy. He bought a phone just for pictures of this wet and cushy. Pay my tuition just to kiss me.
Yo, what's up, everybody?
If you wanna see some wet and cushy.
Look, I need a
The ape is back. All right. So we're actually testing out some new software today. I'm using NVIDIA Broadcast to remove my background with my RTX series video card. And it's actually really fucking amazing, like the job that it does. It's really fucking good. So I'm pleasantly surprised by that. And I replaced my background like with this cool like fucking MP4 loop. Yeah. Ooh, hell. The ape is back. Gotta go and look okay. Chicken head. Shit. Yeah, nowhere closet doors. You'll never know what's in my closet. A mask under a mask. We're doing it big. So I've got our playlist today. I normally play Trap Flow because they have like pre-mashed mixes and stuff. We're gonna go with Trap Nation today. It's gonna be pretty dope. Our stream today, we're mainly gonna talk about this new protocol called Seal.finance. And it's not really something that's that everybody like understands. Okay, hold on. So it's not something that everybody necessarily understands, and that's because the people that made it are very, very Chinese. So all of their English translations are just really bad. So, upon first glance, one of the first things I noticed was the actual team put up around $200,000 of liquidity to like seed the protocol, right? And that's a pretty significant deal. Oh shit! I almost forgot my nicotine. I knew something was off. Oh, does anybody know this feel? Is there any left? Is there any left? Oh yeah. Yeah. We might talk. We might talk about some proof of gate or whatever later. All the hate fanboys, and I like hate too. You guys would really like Seal. Seal is like hate on steroids almost. Believe it or not, China's got a lot bigger crypto community than Western nations and shit like that. But anyway, so what's been essentially the biggest problem with any kind of yield farming? Well, if the yield farming offers like an attractive APY, and we want to, is the music too loud? Yeah, of course Zen 6 is. Zen 6, baby. What's the music like, guys? A little bit up, a little bit down, just right. Shaka, bro. We lit. I take it that is that like Zoomer for like. It sounds good. All right, so I turned the music down just a little bit. I had to. Periscope just crashed too. Okay, it's down. It's down. We'll blast it later. So let's get down to business. So, basically, like when you have any kind of yield farming, the issue is that people provide liquidity and then they dump their rewards on pool 2. And what pool 2 is pool 2 is the liquidity pool for the actual token that's being farmed as a reward. So that pool might offer higher percent APY than the other pools, but the joke is that you're essentially just, you're there for whales to dump on. So you don't want to be in pool 2 ever. We've all heard of an elastic supply cryptocurrency, right? And essentially what an elastic supply cryptocurrency is. Dude, this is a fucking jam. If the music continues to be this good, we're gonna have to reevaluate because I just had a cup of coffee and it's making me want to bounce. Whew. So anyway, in an elastic supply cryptocurrency, you don't necessarily own like 100 coins of something. So let's say there's 1,000 coins, right, on an elastic supply cryptocurrency, and you own 100 coins, and they mint more coins. Well, then you get diluted. With a rebase on an elastic supply cryptocurrency, as the supply contracts and expands, your percent ownership of that supply stays the same. So let's say that I have 100 coins and the supply is 1,000, and it rebases up to some peg, and now the new supply is 1,100. Well, my 100 coins would now be 110 coins. Everybody has more coins, but my percent of the total supply is still the same. So what Seal did is they said, well, you know what? I think we can solve some of the inherent issues behind providing high yield, high APY yield farming by having an elastic LP cryptocurrency. And the way this is accomplished is they actually have developed this one-sided liquidity adding function to the contract. And all it is it's a Zapper contract that performs certain actions, sequences of actions. We're talking about DeFi Legos here. And what those actions do is, I can come in and I can say, I want to be a liquidity provider or breed seals for my favorite token. And I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. Let's see here. Seal of finance. Okay. And then another thing I can do is I can just do background removal here, and bam, check that out. I'm telling you guys, if you have an RTX video card, NVIDIA Broadcast is really good. And let me see if I have a task manager window open. I don't, so I want to look at my utilization and shit. So, this is running OBS, OBS and this NVIDIA Broadcast through this 280 Ti. And it's only at 30% utilization. So that's pretty fucking dope. And it uses artificial intelligence to remove the background. So it looks like I've got a green screen, but I actually don't have one at all. I can go to auto frame. And honestly, I have a green screen, but it's such a pain in the ass to set up, and my cat always attacks that shit. So, fuck that. So this is seal.finance. I bought a seal for lulz earlier. You can see here that seal right now is worth 1.35 Ethereum. Seal is a liquidity token, and the aim of the seal protocol is to provide cross-asset liquidity for DeFi projects. The issue being that, the incentives for liquidity provision on DeFi projects aren't properly designed. So what Seal does is I can come here and I can go to breed, for example. And if I wanted to breed like SNX, and I don't have any SNX, okay? But I can actually just input straight SNX. Let's say I've got 100 synthetics, okay? With no seal at all, I can breed these liquidity tokens, breeding seals. And the way it does this is it'll actually route through the different liquidity contracts. Okay, and I'll just show you this. This shit ain't fucking around, okay? There's actually a lot of liquidity available here. So you can see this here, there's almost $1 million of liquidity now for seal.finance. And Seal is liquid versus Synthetics, YFI, Ethereum, Pickle, Haka, and Uni. Okay? The most liquid pairings are Seal Pickle and Haka Seal. But if I wanted to do seal synthetics, the contract would route everything appropriately so that I would get, you know, the most seal possible for my synthetics. But it would sell off about half of my synthetics, pair that as a liquidity token. And then what I do is I would unstake that and put it in the contract. Now I can go to, you know, something that I am staking, like Pickle, okay? So you can see I've got some liquidity tokens right now. Those are locked until, it looks like 2, whatever that means. Maybe that's UTC. I would assume so. But once you stake, your shit is locked for 24 hours, okay? When I withdraw my staked seals, I've got a 5% tax. It's a proof of weak hands, according to the developer. And what that actually is, that proof of weak hands, means that when I like remove my liquidity, I pay a 5% tax off my LP tokens, and those LP tokens are distributed proportionally to everybody else that's left providing liquidity. So there's an incentive to stay as a liquidity provider. Now, Seal doesn't actually have a rebase function. It's actually got a function called breed. And what breed does is it increases the supply by a certain amount every day. So right now, you know, it's compound interest. You get 1,000% APY for being a liquidity provider on Seal. But a lot of people might say like, well, that's fucking crazy. Like this shit's gonna get dumped into the ground if it's 1,000% APY. Well, here's the revolutionary thing about Seal. The elastic yield goes straight to the LPs that are disincentivized to actually unstake. If I just want to be a holder of Seal, I can benefit as the value of Seal appreciates. You know, that's fine and dandy. If I liquidity provide on Seal, I get this 1,000% APY. And it's compound interest too. And just to show you the power of that, so 1.0065, okay? And what we would do is we want to do to the power of 365 days. So if you're a liquidity provider for 365 days, you're guaranteed, it's through this compound interest mechanism, 10.6x return, just through being a liquidity provider. So every day, the supply is going to inflate by 0.65%. So the inflation is not that bad, especially when you consider that this inflation is going straight towards the liquidity of the protocol, instead of going into whales' hands to dump on you in pool 2 like a pleb. So what actually happens here, okay, we'll just pull up this Seal chart. So what actually happens here is when somebody calls the rebase function, and I called it earlier for the Haka and the uni pools. I don't have any pooled uni, but I was just being a good Samaritan. When somebody calls that rebase function, it'll mint a couple of new seals. And what happens with those couple of new seals is it goes through that same contract, that ZAP contract, and then it distributes that liquidity to the liquidity provider. So your yield is more liquidity providing tokens, more LP tokens. So as this protocol grows, it gets more and more and more and more liquid. If you hold Seal, you don't get any of the interest. You get maybe token appreciation, but you're not getting any of the rebasing effects. Only the LPs get that interest. So honestly, it's a beautiful Ponzi. It's a beautiful Ponzi. Because the people that get in first are gonna get the biggest rewards and get the biggest effects of that compounding interest. Okay, really big. And they're gonna get the effects of the Seal token increasing in value. So let's say I wanted to stake my Haka. You know, Haka is in a lot of these DeFi protocols are pretty stagnant right now, but if Seal is gaining a lot of traction, I mean, fuck, it's like, you know, $1.5–2 million cap right now. If this is gaining a lot of traction and Seal tokens going up a lot, sure, maybe I'm getting impermanent loss versus Seal, but at the same time, I'm accumulating a whole fuck ton of Haka, Pickle, you know, whatever I'm providing liquidity against. And you can see that on Uniswap info. Like for example, if I go to the Haka Seal pair and I look at the chart, you can see that, you know, since I actually have started doing this, you know, Seal has gone from buying, like, for every one Seal buying about 4,000 Haka to every one Seal buying 10,600 Haka. So that's awesome. I'm super bullish on Haka. This allows me to be bullish on the DeFi tokens, you know, that I want to accumulate. It allows me to provide liquidity for these DeFi tokens. If I go to Haka.finance, you can see that, you know, Haka now, you know, their main liquidity was Maker because that's what Haka is providing yield on right now. because they have an insurance product that they're, you know, for Maker that they're incentivizing. But now, Hxro's got $500,000 of extra liquidity versus Seal that can be tapped into. So this is amazing for this protocol. And as governors of this protocol, we're going to be able to decide, you know, what new tokens we want to kind of bring into the mix. So the whole thought around this is that, you know, well, Uniswap does one thing very peculiar, okay? And there's like priority tokens that it routes through. And those priority tokens are Ethereum, Maker, I believe DAI, USDT, USDC maybe. But everything will attempt to kind of pick those routes. So what we want to do, you know, really to kind of provide an avenue, you know, for Uniswap to priority route through Seal is maybe include that DAI pair or a USDT pair. You know, I think DAI just in the name of centralization or whatever you want to call it. But also we can provide really, really good yield farming opportunities for holders of things that don't already generate really great yield on their own. And especially because the crops are really drying up right now, you know, in yield farming is kind of becoming dead. The fact that Seal Protocol can offer 1000% APY of stable fixed yield is actually a really, really big deal. And this is a novel concept, and this is something that I can see really taking off. Some people have said this is the next core. I think I agree. If this really catches traction, this has potential, in my opinion, to be a $50,000, $100,000 market cap project, because it's not just about the Seal token. This protocol brings liquidity, period, to DeFi, and even shit that's not DeFi. I mean, fuck, we could give 1000% APY in wrapped Bitcoin and have wrapped Bitcoin be mega liquid. You know, we'd love to give liquidity for Link and give people in the Link community an opportunity to give Link massive liquidity and farm 1000% APY. That's just how it is. So Rahul Spingy is saying that I'm showing you on the chart that I bought low, and as soon as you guys buy, that I'm going to dump on you. Well, I'm not really interested in pulling my liquidity and paying a 5% tax right now, because as I showed you, if you look at the Pickle Seal liquidity, there's 2,000 fucking liquidity tokens total, right? And I'm 608 of those. So trust me, you want me to unstake this shit if you're a liquidity provider. And I don't plan on doing it because I understand the power of compounding interest. And you know what? Nothing is moving right now. You know, this is the first thing I've been excited about in a while. And I plan on writing this shit out. And at some point, am I going to unstake and dump? Fuck yeah, I am. But, you know, if you never sell, you're never going to make any profit. $1 to $2 million for a protocol that brings liquidity to DeFi, to really anything on Uniswap that we vote in is huge. Now, we've also had some like really cool ideas that we've been discussing as a community. Because right now, if somebody unstakes in the Hxro Seal pool, you know, as a Hxro Seal liquidity provider, I'll get 5% of their share. But what if, you know, your representation of the liquidity was a percentage of the total liquidity available on the platform, not just in your pool? And as anybody unstakes, you know, let's say I'm not providing liquidity right now for YFI Seal, for example, but what if we made it, and this is something we can vote on as a community, what if we made it to where as people are unstaking these things, okay, what if we made it to where everybody that's providing liquidity on the platform gets a share of those LP tokens? I think that would be sick because it puts strong liquidity in strong hands, and it gives anybody providing liquidity on the platform the opportunity to accumulate any protocol that we've decided to vote in to support on the platform. It's just a really, really cool concept. Well, Rahul, if you weren't listening, it's impossible to be the yield here. There's not a pool 2. Well, actually, no, there is a pool 2. There is Seal Ethereum. but that pool is not part of the LP program. Now we might vote to change that because it would be nice to have a hyper liquid pool versus Ethereum, but really there's no need. I think it's a better idea to do that versus USDC or DAI or something like that. Yeah, but there's all sorts of various DeFi pools. When the governance goes live and we vote in Link and we vote in, like, I really want to have a base liquidity pool because their community is so fucking awesome. Maybe a liquidity pool for war. You know I'm going to vote for fucking MTA. That's just how it is. Uh-oh, shit crashed again. And I'm back. But I'm super bullish on Seal. The way it works is really cool. I've never seen a concept like this. And it's an experiment. You know, is it going to work or is it not going to work? You know, that's something that only time will tell. But this is a really interesting opportunity to have something that generates that Yeah, I hate liquidity providing too. I normally don't do that. But like I said, the issue with liquidity providing in the past is liquidity providing, you know, causes a lot of sell pressure on the protocol. Because farming, yield farming produces a lot of sell pressure, and that tanks the price of the token. Okay. But this is an ability for you to be a yield farmer and chase that high yield that you may have chased at one point in the past, like during the peak of the DeFi boom, and not get fucked. Because, you know, people that are staked have an incentive to continue being staked. I mean, you sacrifice 5% of your LP tokens. You give away 5% of your stack just to unstake here. It's a cool idea. You know, is this going to be fucking huge? Who knows? But I definitely think it has the potential to be huge. And it's one of the more interesting things that I've seen recently. So it's interesting, the chart, you know, because it doesn't necessarily represent like just pure trading, because, you know, when people are coming in and adding liquidity to the pool, it puts a lot of buy pressure on the Seal token itself. And I think that buy pressure will continue to take Seal upwards. You know, if there was a support level, you know, that was valid, that we'd be looking at holding right now, it would be this $470 level. You know, but we'll see how that plays out. So let's come take a look at the holders. Okay. So how these rebases happen is once per day, anybody can come into the contract and connect their wallet and call the breed function. I did it earlier today. It was super easy. After I called the breed function, I started thinking to myself, man, this would be really fucked up if I could call breed and then I could call it again. Like maybe the countdown, you know, didn't reset properly, or maybe it didn't work. But that's not the case. That's not something that happens. Here's Seal Finance. They've got their logo up there now, which is really nice. And if you want to come look at the holders of this shit are the liquidity providers. Okay, and here's the Seal Finance deployer, and this right here is for like airdrops and shit like that, I think. But, you know, let's do some more math, okay? So 534 plus 491 plus 283 plus 233 plus 180 plus 170 plus 141. Okay, so technically the amount of circulating supply, because as you can see up here, the total supply is 3,473. So the total circulating supply is really just like 1,400 tokens. And of course that could increase, you know, if people decide to unstake, if they decide to pull their liquidity. But what we can actually do is take that and multiply it by the price. And you can see that the circulating market cap, the market cap of the circulating supply is just $700,000 right now. For anybody that's saying we're not early somehow. And yeah, we'll look at the token holders chart. And you can see that all the major holders of this are the liquidity provider pools. The distribution on this is actually quite good. And the biggest holder of this that isn't a liquidity provider is this guy right here. Okay, with 79 seal. And he only has $40,000, excuse me. He's got $40,000 worth of tokens. So this guy doesn't even have 6 figures worth of tokens. So it's not like somebody can come in. Let's say the biggest fucking whale decides to dump on you, which is a nightmare scenario, you know, that we've seen with a lot of different coins. Okay, so you're gonna dump $40,000 worth of tokens on $1 million worth of liquidity. Like, what the fuck is that gonna do to the price? Not much. Really not much at all. So really cool shit. Interesting opportunities. A lot of interesting arbitrage opportunities here. We've already done really nice volume. The Zap contracts are really interesting. You know, when you add that liquidity to Seal through that one-sided liquidity function, it's really interesting because the contract auto-arbs between everything to get you the best rates. And helps to balance out these pools. And another thing that does, though, is it creates fucking volume in all of these pools. Like, check this out. In the Haka Seal pool, we've got $500,000 worth of volume in the last 24 hours. In the Seal SNX pool, we've got $300,000 worth of volume. The Seal Pickle, $1 million worth of volume. And a lot of shit's getting routed through Seal Pickle because Pickle is hella liquid on its own. But the whole idea here is when we have these liquidity pairings of Seal versus Pickle, Seal versus Haka, Seal versus YFI, Pickle, YFI, Ethereum, Synthetics, we're tapping into a lot of liquidity there because Pickle, all these things are already extremely liquid versus other pools. Like, on its own. Pickle is liquid as fuck on its own. Like, check this out. A lot of people don't realize this. Pickle has $11 million worth of liquidity that we're tying into, you know, by having that Pickle pool, which is really dope. So now we've got over $1 million worth of liquidity now, you know, $5.7 million worth of volume. Dio trade, Messi hired a China team to include Haka on this to pump Haka. To be honest, Haka is like one of the more popular DeFi coins in China, and I'm really bullish on Haka for that reason. You guys are sleeping on China super hard. They can pump the shit out of stuff. Am I holding? Yes, I'm holding. I've got more BNB than Ethereum at this point. But that's easy to do because BNB also costs 1/10 the price of Ethereum. I'm like pretty much not holding any Ethereum at this point. You know, I'm tied up in dog shit and stable coins and liquidity providing and stuff like that. Am I a significant liquidity provider? Yes, I am. But if I pulled my liquidity and dumped on you, then I would have to pay 5% of my liquidity to everybody in this protocol, and you guys can go fuck yourselves because you're not getting 5% of my tokens until I've made a lot of money. Yeah, Ping, the Haka dev, met with Papa Vitalik the other day. That stream was pretty dope, if you guys didn't see it. Would I stake all of my Haka on Seal? No, because I've got a lot of Haka tokens staked on Seal. I think over 1 million. But here's the thing. When I stake Haka on Seal and I enter that one-sided liquidity contract, it's going to buy Seal with half of my Haka. And I'm really bullish on Haka, and I'm very bullish on Seal too, but you know, Haka is something that's been around for a while. Seal is a new thing. So this isn't an all-in type situation, you know, and none of these things are. You know, I put enough into this protocol to where if this really bangs, like, I'm going to make a lot of money, but you never want to put in more than you can afford to lose. Never. Dio Trade has a really good point because I actually thought similar It sounds like Trib, but with a quicker ramp up, and it's a lot like that. This is like Trib on steroids. This is the first thing I've seen where I like better than Trib. Yeah, Hakka is Taiwanese, and I'm pretty sure didn't China hate Taiwan? That might be like a Western misconception, but that's what I thought. I gotta get some better music on. I need to find something that's a fucking jam. Let's see here. I think we're gonna go back to Old Faithful. I think Trap Flow's got a new mix out. Yeah, they do. Here we go. Yeah, but this is actually really, really similar to Trib. There's not going to be a floor established like with Trib because there's not like LP tokens that are becoming permanently locked in the protocol. But it's almost got a floor because there's definitely going to be people that are going to be long tail on this, especially when governance comes out. If the governance looks really good and polished, which I think it will. I mean, if you just look at the fucking website, like a lot of work into this, you know, they put a lot of work into the web design, the graphics and all that. The community's requested a lot of different features to come on this website. Like, we really wanted to show how many LP tokens you've made. For example, like on Pickle, I think I started with, and see some people have unstaked, or maybe somebody called the rebase function. We'll see if we can call the rebase function. How about that? And I'm just gonna go to sealed so I can find the contract quickly. So here's the contract, and here's the actual function. Breed. And you can see, you know, it requires now divided by 1 days to be greater than today. And I would assume now is reset to 0 when this is called. Oh, no. Now it's not reset to 0. It's plus equals 1. Okay. So what I can do is I can go to write contract. We're going to connect to Web3. Okay. So I'm going to go to breed, write. Okay, so check this out. We're actually going to rebase Pickle right now, live on stream. This is dope. And I know that this call is going to be successful. Okay, I know this call is going to be successful. Because it's not throwing a contract error here. So I'm going to go ahead and confirm this. Go ahead and sign that transaction. Okay, so you can view the transaction here. The fuck? Okay, I think somebody might have just fucking rebased it. Then. So it went to 608, from 608 to 614. That's something else people have been talking about. We think that there's some kind of UI bug. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so I just rebased seal. Okay. So you see, you know, I interacted with this contract. Okay. And here's what actually happened. It minted 3 seals and it swapped 3.559 seals for 62 pickle. Okay. Okay. So it looks like it mints maybe double this. It's going to swap half for the equivalent amount of pickle. Yep. Okay. So here's what happens. So it mints seal. It swaps that seal for pickle. It mints more seal here and pairs it with the Pickle token as Uniswap V2. That's LP tokens. So if I go to seal.finance now, you can see that my amount staked jumped from 608 to 613. So I actually just gained 5 liquidity providing tokens by rebasing that. So that's pretty dope. Do you have to be a liquidity provider to call breed? No, you don't. You do not at all. So we just rebased Pickle Seal. You know, everything went really well with that. And what it actually did too, and you can see right here, was it increased the total amount of liquidity tokens by 14.59 or something like that. So that's pretty sick. Pretty fucking sick, guys. I'm glad I was able to do that on stream. That's dope. Excuse me. We'll go home. So you can see right here, and this is just the total supply of the liquidity tokens. So one of the things we'd really like to see is we'd really like to see this contract show you some stats. Like we wanted to show you, you know, like how many you've made, okay? Like in addition to how many you have staked now. So like if I only started out with like 100 liquidity provider tokens and now I have 150, we want to see that profit where it shows 50. We also, it's really easy for them to just put a breed button on the website, and that can make it a lot easier for just anybody to call this breed function. And we want a timer too that shows when the breed functions can be called. So it cost me like 0.04 Ethereum. Yeah, it's. I think this is like what Core wishes it could be. Not to say Core is bad, but this is definitely like a really, really cool project. Does it fully negate impermanent loss as the token appreciates? Well, not necessarily. But 1000% APY does mitigate a lot of things. You know, I'm not going to draw that out because somebody else already did it better. And I retweeted it, so let me find it. Ah, damn, this was a cursed image. This is like one of my favorite fucking GIFs now, as you can see. And if you haven't watched the PewDiePie Sump video, you need to. You're doing it wrong. All right, so this guy put it really well. This is good for LP. You know, price of token B is static. You know, maybe it's a stable coin, and the price of token A is ranging. Or the price of token A and the price of token B are correlated. And this is bad for Uniswap LP. You know, the price of token B is going up and the price of token A is going down. That's something that you really don't want. That's going to lead to impermanent loss, basically. Now, because Seal's a DeFi protocol and because we're actually providing liquidity on DeFi tokens, okay, most of the DeFi space is highly correlated. So the majority of times, you know, as a liquidity provider on a DeFi token, you're going to be in this situation right here, where the things are kind of moving together, which is what you want to see. That's definitely what you want to see. Now, I think that, because we've gotten this question a couple times. Okay, I'm sold. I want to come in, I want to be a liquidity provider, but I'm not really sure what pool is the best for me to be an LP for. Woof, Ren, god damn. Alright. So let's take a look at Wi-Fi. Herein Finance. Okay, just right off the bat. you can see that this is definitely a support zone, okay? And this is going to be your resistance right here. Ah, damn, sorry, I ate McDonald's earlier. I don't know why I did. I was just craving it. Okay? But this is Wi-Fi. And Wi-Fi is doing really bearish shit. Now, one of the biggest issues with Wi-Fi right now is that Wi-Fi is a yield aggregator. What that means is that I can be a total fucking idiot or a noob, or maybe I just don't want to be bothered by it, and I can come take my Ethereum, take my DI, take whatever Wi-Fi's got a vault for, I can come put it in a Wi-Fi vault, and I can let them yield farm for me and use the law of large numbers or whatever it is to move around all that money, to avoid gas fees, you know, to pursue the best yield opportunities and give me a return. But there is no good yield opportunity out there right now, right? These guys dump their yield and buy more Wi-Fi with it. So, of course, when the crops are dried up, Wi-Fi is going to perform like shit, and the crops are dried up right now, and I don't see them coming back anytime soon. Wi-Fi is a worthless governance token. Okay? I don't know what this does. You know, and I think maybe there's a good chance that it comes back and retests 22,000, and, you know, maybe it ranges for a while in here. Maybe it goes down here. I mean, how many times have we seen it, guys? All these coins that have these major parabolic rises retrace 95% of that move, you know, or maybe 90. It doesn't matter how good your shit is. It always happens. So I would imagine that, you know, I don't think that this cycle is over necessarily, but when this cycle is over and, you know, maybe this ranges around in here for a bit, and then we see the true power of Wi-Fi, and Wi-Fi goes to $100,000 or something like that, I would imagine that we're going to have that nasty full retrace down to 5,000 at some point. And I know that's not a full retrace, but that would be a 95% reduction from 100,000 if Wi-Fi was able to go there. Anyway, because of the underlying fundamentals of Wi-Fi, and because the yield is dried up, and I'm not really sure when that's going to come back, and Wi-Fi already has a really inflated market cap. You know, you've got FUD around Andre, FUD around Bantag, you know, you've got all the blue Kirby shit going on. Maybe Wi-Fi isn't the best opportunity here, because I don't want Wi-Fi exposure, because Wi-Fi is going to go down. Let's take a look at Pickle. This is pickle.finance. You know, we've discussed Pickle a couple of times on this channel. So it looks like Pickle here is right on the verge of a breakout. Pickle is a really, really cool protocol. For this reason, because I'm bullish on Seal and I'm bullish on Pickle, I think that they're going to be correlated. I think that they're going to move together. And maybe Pickle, you know, gets rejected here and comes back down or whatever, and breaks out here, you know, towards the end of the month. After elections happen, guys, this shit's gonna go fucking crazy. You know, I forgot who it was, but there's somebody on Twitter that looked at all the data, and it doesn't matter who wins a presidential election, Democrat, Republican, you know, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't fucking matter. Markets rally after that. So expect these markets to rally. In the stock market, you know, stocks, cryptos, whatever you want to call them, everything is actually looking pretty good right now. So I want something that definitely has upside, especially because Seal has such a low valuation. If Seal is a big deal, like I think it might be, and it really goes up a lot in value, I'm really going to want to have something that goes up a lot in value with it. And I think Pickle is a really good opportunity to pick something like that. So let's take a look at Synthetics Network, because that's another option that I have for pairing liquidity. And guys, I mean, fuck's sake. Could this be, because this did put in a higher low here, barely. Could this be coiling up for the next big move? Yeah, maybe, especially if the DeFi space is about to have another boom and shit's about to start getting really crazy. You know, maybe this stays in this structure though for a bit, you know, which is downtrending. I mean, guys, all this stuff's gonna go fucking crazy, and the first dip was really bad, but the reality of the situation is that it was the first dip, okay? New retail money hasn't even entered this space yet. We've already seen the power of DeFi to pump without any new money at all. So this shit's gonna go ape shit at some point, but I don't really feel like this is going to move immediately with Seal. Which brings us to Uni. I don't know how I feel about Uni. I mean, when we talk about a worthless governance token, I mean, this could be the king of worthless governance tokens. Now we have maybe put in some kind of bottom structure here, but you need to consider that this right here is going to be resistance, and it's pushing up against resistance right now. And everybody's cost basis on Uni is 0, which is really scary when you think about it, because you know, you've got guys right now that are going, I can buy the PlayStation 5 with this. And maybe it's fucking around and other shit's moving and it's not able to reclaim this level and it comes back down. I mean, there's really no telling for how low Uni can go from here. Just because that entry for so many people was just $0. Now, and Uni could be interesting. Maybe this is the bottom and we're coiling up for a really big move here. Hayden did comment. By the way, we're going to look at something hilarious regarding Hayden and Tone Vase. If you guys didn't seen it, it was honestly one of the biggest ratios I've ever seen in my entire life. But if Uni is able to reclaim this level right here, then it could be bullish. And, you know, a lot of people are afraid to sell their Uni because they're of the mind that, oh my God, Uni V3 is right around the corner and it's going to use optimistic rollups. And, you know, we can have massive volume and the Ethereum network isn't clogged up right now. And it would just be great for DeFi and everybody's going to have a really, really good time, right? Maybe that's what's about to happen. And maybe Hayden's about to drop Uni V3. But looking at the chart, I would be a lot more bullish on Uni if we could reclaim this. Now, just looking at this, you know, we have an asset with a cost basis of 0. It's a worthless governance token. Nobody but huge holders can actually even do anything. You know, can't make proposals, can't do shit. So the fact is that this right here is going to either reclaim this level or it's going to dump. And I'm leaning towards dump. But if it reclaims that level, Uni might be something good to pair. It honestly, if it reclaimed that level, would look better than YFI and SNX. You know, YFI and SNX are already up mega percents. And I'm not as bullish on them in the near term. If this could reclaim that level though, it would look good. Which brings us to Haka. So Haka had probably one of the most brutal retraces in DeFi. I started buying my Haka around 1 cent, and I've continually added as we get lower. Haka, you know, we talked about Haka at length with DeFi Ted on here on the last stream, and I added a lot of Haka to my portfolio down here, and a lot of liquidity as well to Haka through Haka Seal. I was farming with Haka and Maker for a while. But really the idea with Haka is that Haka is a suite of DeFi products, and that while the inherent value of Haka isn't that high, unlike a lot of these worthless governance token, Haka actually does have an inherent value. And while the token might be trading at a multiple of that inherent value, it's also pricing in a speculative value as well. So we're looking at Haka at a $5 million cap, and the way I see it with Haka, it's huge value right here. So one of two things happen, okay? Either Haka is bottomed right now and Haka has a lot of room to move against Seal. Maybe Haka comes and decides it wants to retest the top of this channel, which would make a lot of sense because, you know, the top of the channel being right here also aligns with this SR flip that flipped into resistance. And if this was able to move with Seal, that would give me the greatest upside for my liquidity provisions. Now, let's say Haka has more downside somehow, which is always a possibility, and Seal goes up. Well, I'm super bullish on Haka, so if Seal goes up and Haka goes down, the ultimate idea of me even being in that Seal Haka pool was not just for the yield itself, was to accumulate a lot of fucking Haka if those two assets diverge. So that's actually something that I'd be totally okay with as well. So the best, most sure thing opportunities for liquidity provision on Seal.finance right now, in my opinion, are going to be Pickle and Haka token. And it looks like a lot of other people share that opinion with me. Because when I go look at all the liquidity pools, the vast majority of this liquidity is here in Seal and Haka token. Interestingly enough, the third most liquid pool is Uni, which is what we said was the third best looking chart, followed by Synthetics and YFI. Now, there is a Seal Ethereum pool, which has a lot of volume, but this is really here as a price discovery mechanism. It's not incentivized. You can't get compound interest on this pool. Maybe at some point we'll vote this in through the governance mechanism. Maybe not. I'll have to watch Sue's podcast on yield farming. Chicken Noda, I've eaten McDonald's 3 times in the last 5 years. I haven't looked at Axie at all since we talked about it on stream last. Dio Trade says, look at the Uni market cap versus price chart. It's hilarious. Oh man. Oof. Wow. Well, that's another problem with this. You know, people are yield farming Uni into the ground right now because it's really one of the only yield opportunities right now. So maybe the market cap punches up into this 365 million zone or something like that. Yeah, Uni go burr. And that's scary because, you know, Curve had 1.4 billion TVL at one point, but the inflation was so fucking high. It shit's at 5 cents now, which is just outrageous. No secret, the inflation in Haka is not bad at all. I'm a Haka bull, bull, bull. Bull, bull, bull. Michael Saylor, Bitcoin bull. The bullest of bulls. Alright, so now we're gonna have to go look at this. Okay.
You know, all jokes aside, it's kind of sad now that you're not allowed to compliment women online. And when they're already always under constant barrage and bullying on the internet, now people aren't allowed to be nice to women. It's kind of fucked up. That's what a simp would say! Pathetic.
Oh man, it's not the whole thing? What the fuck? Alright. We gotta find the whole thing. We're not gonna watch the whole fucking thing. But it's so fucking funny. I literally die every time I see this. No, it's not that one.
It, isn't it? Oh, they're red. Changed. Let's stop that. State 2019 special for.
Oh, this is it.
That's right. Simp! 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 If you ever so much even said a nice thing to a woman, simp. That's right. You're a simp. If you ever said, where my hug at? Simp. I got bad news for you. Simp. I would spit, but I can't be bothered. If you start shaking just by the thought of a girl being criticized, I got bad news for you. You're a simp and nothing else. It goes like this. Soy boy, cuck, simp. You're the lowest of the low. I'm sorry, I don't make the rules. Girls are stinky poos. Yeah, this is how it's been for millennia, eons. But now all of a sudden this guy has to come along and ruin it for everyone. I don't think girls are stinky poos. I don't think. I think you're a queen. Can we have sex now? That's you, simp. Pathetic. Don't ever say nice to female. Before, we used to respect women. Now, I don't even know.
Oh heavens! The simp has fallen in love with the e-girl.
Imagine
Oh
donating
god.
to the...
I just wanted to watch that. That's why I laugh so hard every time I use that meme, because every time I use it, I just imagine PewDiePie just being like, simp! Shit is just fucking hilarious. Turn the music back on now. All right, so we have discussed the SEAL protocol at length now. Where the fuck did Periscope go? Don't ever say nice to women. when Messiah coin coming out? Never. Dio Trade says Pewds deserves every sub, and I 100% agree. 100 fucking percent agree. Oh yeah. So, you know, we talked about SEAL protocol, why elastic LP cryptocurrencies might be the next big thing. You know, SEAL is still super low market cap and it's still super new. Now, a couple of people, including the core developers, have taken a look at the SEAL protocol, and there's really not any loopholes here. The danger, pretty much, is that the dev has too much control over the contract, but we've been told that, you know, that control, those admin rights, the ownership, is going to be controlled to the governance contract, I believe, when that goes live in a couple of days. So hopefully we're able to kind of de-risk then, and you know, we can do that. No, SEAL is unaudited. It's not audited, but the contracts are not exactly that complex. And sure, there could be some kind of bug there, but here's a couple things. Oh, well, the developer can come in, he's got ownership of the contract, you know, he can infinite mint and dump on you. True, but when we were investigating the SEAL contract, we found out that the developer had seeded his address with a transaction worth $50,000 from FTX. Now, FTX has a withdrawal limit of, I believe, $10,000 maybe maximum per day for accounts that have not completed the KYC process, meaning that whoever seeded this contract is KYC'd at FTX. And if they decided to pull any fuckboy shit or any funny business, you know, we'll get Uncle Sam after them. He would be really fucking stupid to pull any funny business with us. Now, number two, this dude has put $200,000 of his own money in this contract, or there was these initial donators. We're still not really sure what the story is because they're so Chinese, like we can't tell. And he's tried to clarify it in the channel, but his English is so bad, you know, we can't really understand what he means. But there's either one of two things. There's about $200,000 of initial liquidity, and that initial liquidity was comprised of YFI, Synthetics, Pickle, Akka, and Uni, paired with the SEAL token. Now, at some point, it says that the initial liquidity providers are entitled to 70% of that, and that 30% of that is going to dev or something like that. I'm not quite sure what that is. And another interpretation is that the early liquidity providers to the protocol are going to share in that 70% of the initial liquidity. I've taken a look at it right now. That represents, I think, about 500 SEAL tokens. And hold on, we can actually look at that right now. On liquidity.vision. So I'm going to switch this back over. Okay. Give me just a second, fellas. I've got to get the creator's contract again, which isn't that hard to do. I just need to go to the deployer. There you go. Okay, so what I can do, and you can do this for any address, you can do it with your address if you connect your own wallet, but we're going to enter this address, which is the deployer of the contract, so we can actually look at how many liquidity tokens this guy actually has. So you can see current SEAL 154, 142, 144, 148, 139, and 159. So we're gonna just add those up. Now, as the price of SEAL goes up, and it definitely will, and he hasn't removed any of this liquidity yet, but as the price goes up, you know, this liquidity is going to be less and less skewed towards SEAL. So let's see, 154 plus 142 plus 144, and once again, this side is liquidity.vision. And it's a really good way to look at where you're at with your liquidity providing ventures. 148 plus 139 plus 159. Yes, so it's actually 886 SEAL tokens. So here's the thing. This represents a decent chunk of liquidity here, right? So let's see, 163 plus 150 plus 152 plus 156 plus 147 plus 169. Or no, we wouldn't include the Ethereum liquidity here. So we'll minus 150 out of this actually, because that's not farmed. So we have $800,000 worth of liquidity tokens right now that are farmed that belong to the development address. And that's just, you know, for bootstrapping. I don't know at what range that they're going to pull 70% of this. Or if they're just, I don't know. We don't know anything about that. We don't know how they're going to distribute it, who it's going to, if it's going to us, other people. We're trying to find that out as time goes on. But you do have to remember that out of 800,000, you know, if they remove all of that liquidity from the contract, 5% of that liquidity is going to be distributed to liquidity providers. Oh, fuck. That'd be 0.005. So that's actually $40,000 that the dev would pay to current liquidity providers of the protocol. And that's going to help to bootstrap your ability to, you know, get interest in shit too. So let's see here. So we're just really not sure, you know, what yeah, we're just really not that sure when this is actually going to happen or anything like that. But the longer it takes to happen, the bigger tax this dude's going to pay. But he is going to pay a tax when he pulls any of that to the people providing liquidity in the platform. Now, if we look at the total liquidity, okay, you see that the total liquidity here says $1 million, but the total liquidity is actually $2 million. You know, if you add just these two up right here, that's over $1 million already. So this is just the one-sided liquidity. You have to do this times two. So even if the dev pulled all of the liquidity from the protocol, then we still have $1.2 million worth of liquidity in the protocol. And then we would be paid, and you know, there'd actually be another $40,000 of liquidity added through taxation to the protocol when he does that. But he said that he's only going to pull, I think it was 70%, but we don't know. Does that 70% go to us? Does it go to the people that provided the early tokens? We're just not really unsure what any like of the timetables or anything around this. So that's just a waiting game. Worst case scenario, let's say, you know, the dev fucking pulls everything. Well, we're already providing $1.2 million worth of liquidity, which is quite a lot. And that really shouldn't have many effects. Yeah, happy Turkey Day to all our Canadians here. Apparently Canadian Thanksgiving is on October 11th. What the fuck? Weird. Canada does a lot of shit weird though. Right? So we've been going for an hour 20 minutes. You know, still plenty of time, still plenty of energy here. We typically take these things to about 2 hours, so I'll go ahead and open up the floor. You know, we can talk about anything you guys want to right now. I'm going to take a brief moment to discuss one thing that I want to discuss. You know, we just had this whole Blue Kirby situation, which just blew the fuck up. You know, everybody was already mad at Kirby, and then he decided that he was going to essentially do an ICO raise by selling NFTs and then doing an airdrop. And then people got all mad about it and ended up doxing the guy and, you know, saying they're going to report him to the SEC and all of this crazy ass fucking shit. It's just fucking crazy to me because, you know, like you got people that just FOMO in on total unaudited contracts, on rugs. You know, I've got friends that will buy shit that they've been, you know, was made by a developer that they got rugged on before already. Which is just, that's fucking crazy. But, you know, that's what the kind of, like, that's our audience here. You know, we've got a degenerate gambler audience. And then some dude, like, tries to make the, essentially, like, decentralized crypto version of Sotheby's auction house. And he was trying to do something cool, and people just shat on him. They doxed him and this and that. Now, oh, but he violated Rory's terms of service. Then, okay, sure. You know, like, you can be big mad about that if you want, you know, but does that mean you should dox him? Like, oh, but he can just, he can keep printing NFTs and, you know, he can raise more money. Well, you know, okay. Like, what's the fucking point here? You know, like, this shit is just getting really out of hand. And, like, the community is fighting and everybody wants to look like where to point the finger and who to fucking blame right now. Oh, well, Sam, you know, SBF, FTX Sam, he took his FTX and, you know, he put it on Cream as collateral and he shorted all the DeFi markets. Well, okay, sure, he did. But at the same time, who do you think was longing the DeFi markets on the way up? You know, who do you think pumped your fucking bags? Everybody's so quick to point the finger at somebody else, you know, when you're a fucking loser. But the reality is that everybody here is responsible for their own actions. You know, nobody made you not sell the top. Nobody made you be greedy. Nobody made you hold. You know, my dad didn't give me a lot of really good advice in my life. But some of the best advice he ever gave me was, you know, he said, Daniel, you're sitting here and you're wondering why your life sucks. And this is, I remember when I was in my early 20s, and he said, you're pointing it over here and, you know, it's that guy's fault, or it's this situation's fault, or it's the college's fault, or this or that. And he said, take that finger you're pointing at everybody else and think for a minute, and then point that finger back at yourself, because that's whose fault it is. And I'm pretty sure when he told me that, I told him, it's actually your fault and you can go fuck yourself. But he was right. You know, I'm 30 years old now. This is 10 years later, almost 31. And he's right. We've got to be accountable for our own actions, and we have to be considerate of the other people here, or nobody's ever going to come buy our fucking bags. Do you want somebody to buy your bags? For fuck's sake, like, I want somebody to buy my bags. So just be fucking nice to people. You know, people come in and they see people, you know, threatening lawsuits and fucking doxing people and just behaving like children and just fucking assholes online. Like, they're not going to want to buy your bags. So if you can't do it just to be a good person, do it so you have somebody to dump on. Like, fuck. Crazy shit. I was excited for Blue. I was super excited for Blue. Not only because I'm an EMN fucking victim and I was going to get an airdrop for Blue, but because it was a cool idea. And the marketing was obviously really cool, and the branding was cool, and he generated a lot of hype around it. And, like, you could say, like, no, that was bullshit. Well, if it was bullshit, then how did he sell $1 million worth of NFTs in like 2 days? That's not bullshit. That's not bullshit. And then you want to be mad at fucking Sam, like the dude that's giving you perps on all your fucking shitcoins, that gave you a DeFi index you could go long and short on, listing all your shitcoins on his exchange, like, you know, like helping the community out. Like he, you know, I know people like are mad at him about sushi and stuff too, you know, but Chef Nomi, like whoever the fuck that dude was, like gave Sam sushi, and Sam could have just said, "Now fuck this, I'm not doing anything, fuck all you guys." But he bailed everybody else, and now everybody, you know, wants to blame somebody because we have fucking lost money. You can't blame other people, it's our fault. You know, am I drawn down from my all-time high this year? Fuck yeah. I mean, aren't you? I am. Shit. But that's my fault. I shouldn't have held. I should have sold it all. It's just crazy because, you know, I really felt like that there was going to be this complacency leg, and maybe we just haven't seen it yet, that I was going to be able to take profit on, and it never came. This shit just went straight down. Crazy shit. But that's okay. You know, the same systems that we're complaining about, this leverage that allowed everybody to short DeFi, is going to allow everybody to long the fucking balls off of out of DeFi when it's time again. When we have new plebs in the market, and we have new people to dump on, and this new retail money coming in, and Bitcoin's looking fine. Bitcoin looks fine as hell right now. And we got a situation where this same leverage is going to moon DeFi really, really hard. And moon other shit too. Fuck, I hope my other non-DeFi bags pump. That'd be dope. But anyway, just be fucking nice to people, guys. And even if you're not a nice person, be nice to them so you have somebody to fucking dump on. Fuck's sake. Fuck's sake. So Caster Crypto wants to chart his XFI bag. I have heard of NFY DEO trade. I'm really not too bullish on DeFis, and I don't really want to speak on them because I haven't done a lot of research on them, and I don't want to speak on them from an uneducated perspective. Now, XFI is something that I actually bought the pre-sale for, and I ended up selling for like a 2x just because I got tired of holding. But that was obviously a really, really, really bad mistake. And to be quite honest with you, this chart is just a pump and dump. It looks like straight trash. We're gonna have to convert this to log scale because it pumps so hard. This chart looks like shit. You know, we're sitting right here, okay, on support. And if it breaks in, here's the thing, guys. If you bought this at the bottom, which is actually, that was about ICO price, is what it retraced down to. If you bought this at the bottom and sold at the top, that was a 1,400% move. That's huge. But the second this thing loses this floor right here, and maybe it won't, but the second this breaks down below 300 bucks, and maybe it squirrels around right here for a little bit, I'd get the fuck out of this. Because it's coming all the way back down to here. 100 bucks. Minimum. Minimum. So be really careful. This is not like looking like something that I'd be interested in holding right now. And even more concerning is you had this massive buy. Maybe a whale came in and was greedy and was like, you know, I sold up here and I'm going to buy back. You had this massive buy come in, and you can see the wick to the upside that it generated. And that's a clear swing failure point, which just contributes even more to the bearish argument, because with a buy that big that generated that much volume, it was rejected. And now we're just sitting here on support, and under that is just a fucking cliff. Like, look out below. Be careful on that. Oh, they did the core rebrand thing? So let me... Oh, shit, okay. I wasn't sharing the chart. Well, keep in mind everything I just said, and I'm going to share the chart now. All right, here we go. Oop. So this is what I was talking about. Here's that swing failure point. You can see this big wick to the upside. A big whale came in. He tried it. He tried to pump it off of support right here, and it was totally rejected, and it failed. Now it's just kind of hanging on this cliff, and there's really no support under this. It pumped so hard and so fast that no levels were established on this level. So if we lose this $300 range, it could get really, really ugly really, really fast. Okay, so here's the problem with rebranding to core mechanics. Or not rebranding, but maybe migrating to core mechanics. You'd say, well, core, those mechanics are incredible. They are, obviously. It's reminds me a lot of like Seal, because in the early days, a lot of people looked at core and they said, well, that's stupid, or that's bullshit. But the fact of the matter is core did something revolutionary, and it allowed for massive liquidity to be accrued in the core protocol. Incredible stuff. But here's the thing. Core had a liquidity generation event where 100% of the liquidity was locked in the protocol. And then you took those LP tokens and you were able to farm with those tokens. So there wasn't ever a supply to really dump on the market. There's just pure demand. Ponzi. So number go up, right? Now Nyan is something that I bought. And actually sold for a loss. Fucking seriously? Alright, we're gonna pull this up on Trodex Pro. This just looks unfortunate. It looks like it might be a slow bleed. Here's the deal. So I bought this like up here. I think I bought it at $180. And I was of the mind that, you know, hey, we had this momentum push up, and most of the times, like, these pushes are accompanied by a second push. And maybe that second push forms some sort of bearish divergence or some kind of shit like that, or some sign of a reversal, and I can take profit. Like, I bought this for a pure quick flip. And I was thinking, you know, maybe I would want to flip this somewhere in this region up here. You know, I could buy it at 180, flip it at 400. That's a quick 2x, and then I could use that 2x and you know, turn that around real fast and invest in something longer tail, something that I had like a longer term interest in. The problem is this went up and it never had that follow through, and I wasn't interested for holding because people are like, oh, but they're forking to the core mechanics, you know, they're gonna have a coin swap and all this. Here's the fucking problem with that. With core, you started out with all liquidity and almost no supply. And you can fork anything you want to the core mechanics, but it still doesn't matter because you're not starting with all liquidity, okay, and no supply. You're starting with no liquidity and a massive supply. You know, if I have 1,000 yen, or 500 yen, or 100 yen, or 50 yen, am I going to lock my Nyan as liquidity forever so I can farm more Nyan? While all the other people that have unlocked Nyan just dump all over me? Fuck that. Why would I do that? You know, my goal would be, hey, this is core, right? This is core mechanics. So now this is going to pump to $1,000. Maybe it does, okay? Maybe it does. I'm not a fucking fortune teller. But, oh, it's going to pump to $1,000 and now I'm going to sell my Nyan and I'm going to be rich as fuck. Well, it's not going to work like that. This is going to add long-term value to the Nyan protocol, but it's going to take longer than people think. It's not going to be like, hey, we do the token swap on Monday or Tuesday, and now it's core, and now it's going to moon. It's not like that. There's a lot of supply that people are going to want to dump on the markets. So be careful. Anything that, you know, is bullish because they're forking to a core mechanic is not as bullish as you think. And that's why, you know, there's been some core clones. Let's look at D-Core, because I almost bought that. Please tell me it's not on the moon right now, because I'm going to be really, really mad. Because I didn't buy it, of course. Huh. Okay, well, D-Core really hasn't done shit. And maybe it will. We're gonna draw this trend line with the body-to-body method. The wicks are a little messy. That's a pretty good fit. I'm not really seeing much of a trend line to be drawn here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a horizontal right here. So maybe, you know, this is about to have a bullish break to the upside, you know, and explore some potential up here. Maybe not. The issue is that core, you know, a lot of money came into it and locked a lot of liquidity in the protocol, had a lot of hype. Maybe the copycats aren't going to get the same level of momentum the core had. I mean, just like there might be copycats of Seal coming, but I doubt that they're going to have the same level of momentum that Seal does. Base wants to know where my drape went. I took it off. I still have a couple of hate tokens. You know, some friends sent me hate and told me about the protocol, and you know, like I like hate. You know, it's a Ponzi, but it's going to take time to go up. Just like Trib. Hate reminds me a lot of Trib. But I think if you're in hate for the long run, you're going to do super well. Safe 2, cover. Let's take a look at Safe 2. I really, really, really wanted to pick up some of this shit down here, but I was too much of a pussy to buy it. This is looking good. This is looking good. Still bullish on this. I've got I'd say a small, medium-sized bag of Safe 2, which will become cover. It's enough to where if this works, it's going to be a big deal, and it's enough to where if this is a big deal, then I'm going to be pretty happy with the amount of appreciation. Take a look at Ken. You know, Ken released their testnet finally. Very bullish. Ken could be bottoming here, maybe not. I think the pre-sale price on Ken was $1. You got to remember right now, Ken is just over $1 million cap, which is very low. So that's my best effort for a trend line on Ken. You know what? The end of October, and I'm seeing this trend across a lot of these coins, is looking ripe for a breakout. Now, are we going to see new all-time highs on some of this stuff? Yeah, we are. On all of it, I can't tell you. Maybe. It really depends on Bitcoin. Yeah, we'll check out the new website for cover. If somebody could post that in chat, that'd be much appreciated. Yo, fucking this Nvidia shit is bad fucking ass. Look at this. It's literally Nvidia broadcast. Just look at this. Because I can turn this off. Look, no green screen at all. Like, that is fucking sick. How crazy is that? Artificial intelligence is so cool. Yeah, if somebody can post that new cover website, we'll go check it out. This is called NVIDIA Broadcast. You have to have one of the RTX enabled, ray tracing enabled video cards. Thank you, Seeker1994. Much appreciated. Oh, it's .com. Fuck. I don't know why they... Oh, fuck yeah. That's a sick website. Fungible coverage. You know, DeFi Ted talked about what a big deal that was. Fungible means that, you know, you can trade your coverage. You know, I can... Basically what that means is I can come in, you know, I can buy coverage, insurance for, you know, whatever. I don't know if they're just going to offer it for yield farming or positions or custody or what. But let's say I buy coverage for 100 days and then, you know, I decide that, hey, I'm actually going to exit this yield farm or whatever, but I've still got 50 days of coverage. Well, I can go to the marketplace then and I can sell that 50 days of coverage, which is really sick. I actually might want to pick up a little bit more of this. Wow, completely valueless. That's lossy. They've got a nice team. SBF is advising. Andre's advising. DeFi Ted's advising. And that's super bullish to me. So you've got 3 core devs, a technical advisor. Really good looking website. I'm excited about cover. if cover is if cover ends up being a big deal, it's going to be a really big deal. Let's just check this out. CoinGecko. River Safe 2. It's about a $17 million cap right now. If this works out, I can see this being like, you know, a $100 million cap project pretty easily. It's definitely, it definitely fits the bill of being something that is innovative, something that's unique, something that's different, which is the only thing that I like to invest in. Am I gonna get a 3 series GPU? Yeah, I am. I've got two 280 Ti's and one 1080 Ti. I don't know what I'm gonna do with my 1080. I think I might just give it to one of my friends. Maybe I put these two 280 Ti's in a mining rig or something. I'm not quite sure. I've got a pure Linux box with a 7700K i7 in it that's overclocked to 5 gigahertz. It's got 32 gigs of RAM, I think 600 watt PSU, and a 1080 Ti. And it's a good little PC. I don't even know if the 280 Ti will fit in it because it's in a really small case. Maybe it won't. But I really want a 390 just for machine learning and stuff. When the market cools down, I really want to get back to developing my reinforcement learning algorithm for trading markets. I just hadn't had enough time. There's too much market research to be done. The trading pit's too poppin'. But the 390 is a beast of a fucking card, like absolute fucking beast. I really want to wait for the ROG version to come out. The Republic of Gamers. I only buy ROG GPUs. It's just a really, really high quality GPU. You know, they do a lot to ensure it's got the best cooling. It's got a good design. That's what I'll be waiting on. Crypto Ethio wants to know if we can take a look at Owl. That's Stealth Swap for you guys that haven't heard of it. And we're gonna go ahead and convert this to an hourly chart, and we'll look at the line chart. I think I like this trend line better because this trend line doesn't seem to have much going for it. So this is the best I've got for Owl right now. You know, a lot of people are super bullish on Owl. I mean, fuck, private Uniswap, that sounds great, right? And it's looking like too, you know, if this is gonna break up, if it is gonna look good, it looks like it's aiming for the end of October, which is the same kind of pattern that we've seen on all of these DeFi coins. So guys, these DeFi coins, like at the end of October, like shit is gonna go fucking bananas, or it's all gonna dump more. But yeah, everything's consolidating right now. You know, we're about to find out pretty soon. Josh, what do you mean? What's MSI doing with the 30 cards? I don't know how bullish I am on Owl. Just because, you know, I've had guys that are more big brain than me, you know, say that it's bullshit, like some Monero engineers and people like that. But maybe it's not. Maybe they're wrong. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time they've been wrong. But I just have to go, like I said, you know, I know so little about like private cryptography that I kind of just have to wait for somebody that's smarter than me to come out with an opinion and read that opinion and decide if that's going to be my opinion or not, you know, based on their supporting evidence. You know, does that mean Owl, even if it's straight doo-doo, does that mean Owl is not going to pump? You know, fuck, dude, we saw Tard token go 5x, you know, when DeFi was popping, so... You know, a private Uniswap, even if that's just a narrative, is definitely gonna pump. I have 100, closer to, well, do you want me to include my house and shit, like in cars and stuff like that too? Or just liquid assets? I've got pretty much 100% of my liquid net worth in crypto. You know, I've got enough cash in the bank to where if Dan decided that I was a piece of shit and he wanted to fire me, you know, I could live for about 6 months. Probably longer, you know, considering that I've got a dual income. I suggest you guys have enough cash in the bank to live for at least 6 months. You know, should something happen, you know, and this next pop up, you know, let's say, because, you know, I wasn't always like well off. You know, like when I was younger, you know, when my wife met me, I was poor as fuck. Like I was so poor. All the money that I ever had, I would spend on weed. I always had weed. I always had Grizzly Wintergreen long cut, and I always had peanut butter because peanut butter was cheap, and I could go to Publix, or it was actually Kroger where I was at. I could get the big peanut butter, crunchy, duh, and that was my meal. That's what I'd eat. Grape Mouse energy drink. That was a big item on my priority list too. I've always paid my bills. Always paid my bills. I've never been a non-bill payer. Bills are very important to me, and I take pride in paying them. You know, because that's a service. If I'm going to be, you know, using something, I better be able to fucking pay for it. But the best feeling in the world for me was when I finally had enough money to where, when I went to go fill up my car, which was it was a Volkswagen Jetta 2.5 liter, 2009 maybe at the time. When I went to go fill that shit up, it was a good little car. I love my little Jetta. It was a great little car. But when I went to go fill it up, I remember shit, that was a 2005. It wasn't a 2009. When I went to go fill it up though, you know, I was on the $5 in my tank struggle. You know, and sometimes even giving the person that, you know, at the gas station change for that couple bucks to put in my tank. I had money to put gas in my tank. I wanted to buy weed and shit though. A different phase of my life. But you know, if you ever find yourself, you know, you're looking at your portfolio and maybe you got an airdrop that's worth $15,000, just think to yourself and just be like, you know what? If I had if I could take half of this, you know, if I could take a third of this and just put it in my bank account right now, you know, if this airdrop went to zero, like that'd be a really significant change in quality of life for me. And that's what crypto is all about, you know. Of course, everybody wants to get rich and have a Lambo and do this and that, but I mean, the ultimate freedom you can get from crypto is just being able to live life without the stress of your bills and shit like that. You know, you don't want to be behind on your car payment. You know, you don't want to have a flat tire or something like that, or, you know, have something come up and you say, fuck, you know, well, I thought I was good, but, you know, now I've got to pay all this money for this or that. If you ever find yourself up a little bit, you know, put some cash in your, you know, pay yourself, put some cash in your bank account, because trust me, you'll be glad you did. I mean, there's never going to be a situation where you say, fuck, you know, I wish I didn't have this $5,000 in my bank account right now. Mango Nos, yeah, dude, the Mango Nos was a little later than my time. Mango Nos was a little later than my time. For me, it was the Grape Nos. It was some good shit. How did I change it? I worked really, really hard. At one point, I had 3 jobs. I was working about 80 hours a week. You know, I had failed out of 3 colleges at that point. I was selling cars. I was working at GNC on the day that my off day from selling cars. And I was working a restaurant at night. Literally about 80 hours a week. Never had time to party, never had time to do anything. I had to pay bills. I had to make money. And, you know, I'd come home after both jobs and everything. It was exhausting. I'd come home and I'd get baked and I'd play video games for an hour or watch sci-fi and go to bed. I'd wake up and repeat. That's what my life was. You know, and now I've got a great job. You know, I've got a college degree. And I've got financial freedom. An amazing wife, you know, and a nice house and a nice car. It wasn't always like that. You know, I worked many jobs for a long time. And even though I only actually worked 3 jobs for about 6 months of my life, I worked 2 jobs for about 3 years. And that was an eye-opener. You know, I was born a rich kid, but, you know, my dad didn't give me anything. He said, fuck you. You know, you're gonna be a pleb unless you can change that. And for a while I didn't care. When I started caring, I changed it. You know, and I decided that, hey, you know, you're pretty smart. Like, let's get to work. Let's do it. Yeah, I've got a secret OnlyFans. You guys, how did I get a car sales job? Yeah, I interview. Come on. I interview really well. I got a, my job that I pivoted to after selling cars. This is the first time I've made $100,000 a year. Was a job selling insurance. And I actually got a job managing the insurance office because I interviewed really well and I impressed the guy. And I would not leave until he told me that I had that job. I literally forced this dude to tell me that I had the job after my interview, even though I wasn't qualified for it. Because I've been selling cars, you know, I was going after the close. I was not gonna leave there without that fucking job. And I still remember, you know, he told me later on, he said, dude, you were 100% unqualified for this job, but when I saw the fact that you were not going to take no for an answer and that you tried to close me after the interview on this job, I knew that you were the right guy for it. And he gave me the job, and we ended up taking that insurance office to number 3 in the country in sales. I mean, we were doing big money sales. But, you know, even then I was working 6 days a week. Fuck that. I mean, I work 7 days a week now, so... But I'm doing something I love. And that's important. But you got to work hard, you know. I didn't just happen into, you know, crypto wealth or any wealth in general. You know, I worked really hard to be where I am right now. And really anybody can do it. You know, I spent a lot of time learning crypto and learning, you know, these markets and the psychology and developing that gut feeling. It's not something that happens overnight. And even with all the experience I have, like it's even with all the experience I have in these markets and stuff, I still don't navigate them perfectly. It's very difficult to do that. If I could do that, I wouldn't be here. I would have already made it to the point where I could just leave. Because honestly, the crypto community is a bunch of assholes now. Not necessarily something I want to stick around forever. So Ouroboros Swaps wants to know what exactly I do for Hxro. My title is technically, I started off as, I think senior data analyst or something like that. And then I had a promotion to operations director. And I'm now the chief evangelist at Hxro Games. I'm an advocate for the brand, and I work on marketing strategy, product development. You know, I am a guy that can explain programming and developer topics because I've got a computer science degree to, you know, people that don't have a development background. And part of my job is building our community. So that's why you'll find me, you know, I hang out, but I actually really love, you know, hanging out in the trading pit and doing stuff like that. Like, so that's not even really a job, but part of my job is like building our community. We've got some really cool new products coming out. So, you know, we've also got like a DeFi roadmap we're going to release. So I've got a big part in putting that DeFi roadmap together. And not just like bullshit, like doing it because everybody else is doing it DeFi, like doing cool DeFi shit that nobody else is doing. So I do a lot of things at Hxro. But I love my job at Hxro. It's a great company. I think Hxro is going to be huge. Just wait till you see our new products. They're hot. Nobody's doing it like us. You're going to be able to come in and you're going to be, man, I got to stop myself before I say too much but let me just say that because I really want to talk about it. You guys know me, like if I'm hype about something, I really want to tell everybody else how hype I am. You know, like you don't want to be excited by yourself. Like that fucking sucks. But trust me, like Hxro's got some crazy fucking shit coming. And I really do think the entire crypto community is going to be like, yo, that's dope. And we're going to hop in. Unfortunately, it's not available to the United States. It's just, you know, you can blame them. But for anybody else that's in a jurisdiction that's not restricted, this shit's going to be hot as fuck. Like this shit's going to be bigger than perps, futures, options. It's going to be bigger than fucking everything. Thank you, Chickenoda. I appreciate the fact that you'll miss me when I make it. I'm sure I'll never fully leave crypto, but you know, this has just been such a big part of my life for so long. It's at some time I'm gonna want to move on. I really still want to start my own hedge fund. You know, I want to go to the college I graduated from and hire some really fucking smart kids straight out of school, like the smart, you know, they're in a CS class, like there's this huge skill gap between like the guys that are just scraping by and like the fucking rock stars. And I really want to go get some of those young kids and take them under my wing and bring them into my world and, you know, and give them an opportunity to be a part of something big and to make something big. And I think that we can develop some wicked trading algorithms and, you know, start something big. But I'm gonna need crypto to pumpy pump so we can make that happen. But that's probably the next phase of my evolution. You know, maybe you'll see three Messi's capital at some point being a force in crypto. I live in Alabama. Well, I can't tell you that investing in Hxro is a good idea. It's just a utility token. But if you'd like to invest in it, it's available on several exchanges. I know it's available on Bittrex. I think there's some liquidity on Uniswap. I'm not quite sure. You know, I'm not, as much as, you know, I've got Hxro token, but I'm not allowed to, you know, really comment on the token much just because, I don't know, it's just the rule or something. But if you want to get into Hxro token, you know, there's definitely ways for you to get into it. Just like if you wanted to get BNB, you know, or you wanted to get FTT, you can get into that. So guys, we got about maybe 5-10 minutes tops left. You know, I don't want to just run this on forever. So if we have any final questions or you guys want me to chart some other shit, you know, I'm happy to take a look at it. And if nobody else has any questions or anything, we'll just go ahead and wrap up. So I'll give you guys, you know, 20-30 seconds to comment or forever hold your peace. All right, so Lou Christopher, this is an important question, and I'll answer this one first. No more new questions, because we already have like 3 or 4, and I want to get to all of them. So what you can do, and I'll put the site here. You can go to liquidity.vision, connect it to your MetaMask, okay? When you connect it to your MetaMask, fuck it, I'm going to have to share my screen again. Hold on. Just to be clear on this. Okay. So once I go to Liquidity Vision, I connect it to my MetaMask, I'm going to see a screen like this, okay? I want to click More Info next to, for you, that would be the Seal SNX pool. Hit More Info. And you can see your share of the pool right here. It says 1715. Then after that, go look at the number of liquidity tokens that Seal.finance says that you have. Okay, holy shit, this stuff, it Seal's at $600. Fucking right, that's sick. So go look at the amount of liquidity tokens that Seal says you have, Seal.finance, and see if there's a difference between that and what this says. Now, Seal team, they're gonna bring some more tools to make this a little easier for you, because I understand like this is kind of just this is jerry rigging. It's a workaround, right? But this is the best way that I've found to do it. You get an opinion on Hippo? No idea what that is. We did have a couple of people ask about Deuce, so we'll definitely take a look at that. Just because more than one people asked that. Did I spell this shit wrong or something? Oh, Deus, not Deuce. You know, could that go up? Yeah. One thing I am concerned right here, and I'm not necessarily thinking that it's the best idea to re-enter right here, is it is right up against resistance, and we've got this kind of like, I like to call this the Grim Reaper pattern, where, you know, you see it, you know what the Grim Reaper scythe looks like? And you can kind of see that same thing here, where you go up, and then it's kind of flattening out and losing momentum. I really am not a fan of this. In order for me to like maybe be interested in this, it would have to like reclaim that level pretty hard. So I'd want to see a spike, and I'd want to see consolidation above this level. I have no idea what this does, the market cap, the fundamentals, what it is. Just looking straight at the chart, it doesn't really look that appealing because of that Grim Reaper shit, but that could change. Will I manage your money in crypto? No, I'm not qualified to manage your money. I'm not qualified to tell you what you should buy or shouldn't buy. I do streams as an employee of Hxro Labs. And while we're not giving financial advice, we are an educational platform. And, you know, like today, we did education on a new protocol that might be an interesting play, and it might not be. But if you're going to buy that shit, that's on you. Because you could buy it and maybe you buy the top. Not my fault. So Big Buddha wants us to take a look at Matic. You know, Matic's an interesting level 2 solution, and I actually haven't heard it mentioned much recently. But I do believe Matic, you know, might have its day at some point. We're gonna go back to candles on Matic. Oh, what the fuck? Oh, we're on ChartX. We'll chart Matic here. To be honest with you, bro, I don't even know what to make of this. Like, I don't even know what the fuck that is. You know, one could argue that this is like maybe a big horizontal range or something like that. You know, for me, I'm not really going to be excited about Matic, especially in a climate where non-DeFi shit isn't really pumping until it can, you know, make a new high and get out of this horizontal range and maybe see some price discovery. Big Clouds wants to check PPBLZ. No idea what that is, but we'll look for it. Yeah, it's really, that price action is, there's just really nothing I can make of it. I mean, I know that it's a liquid because of these wicks to the up and to the downside. You know, it's been on an upward. Wow, I just drew a dick. Smells. You might as well make it good. There you go. So we have been like in an upward trajectory and everything like that. But I don't know what the fuck this is. It's definitely a liquid. I don't, you know, without knowing anything about the fundamentals or anything like that, it's very difficult for me to comment on this just because there's very limited, there's 1 day of trade, less than 1 day of trading history available for this. Okay, so missing number 1 says, what can we expect APY wise if SEAL price was to crash? SEAL is a fixed APY token. So if SEAL was to crash, you're still going to be getting 1000% APY. More SEAL will be minted to pair with those liquidity pairings. It's 1000% APY all the time. It's a fixed APY. If there's a gazillion dollars in the SEAL contract, it's still a fixed APY. Okay? And here's the thing, you want a gazillion dollars in that contract, because if that happens and that fucking dude that put the $10 million in there decides to unstake, you're going to get hella paid. Because you're going to get 5% of his whale LP. So that's a win. Go ahead, bro. You know, come in, farm that shit and dump it. You're going to give me 5% of your LP, so fuck you. Oh, Geo Trade, you can watch the replay though. You can come check it out later. I've got some great car sale stories. I mean, absolutely great car sale stories. We'll save those for another stream. Good stuff though. Really, really funny shit. Honestly, that's one of the more fun jobs that I've had. And I made some really good friends there, and I learned a lot about myself and sales and closing and people. You know, selling cars is something I'd recommend for everybody. You know, especially if you're... Here's one of my biggest probably issues. Like, people always want to be like, oh, you know, I'm unemployed, I can't find a job. You're looking at somebody that's had maybe 100 jobs in his life. Like, dude, you can find a fucking job. You just can. Maybe you don't want the job that you can find, but you can find a job. Me? If I need a job and I need some fucking income, I'll go work at McDonald's. I'll flip burgers. I'm not above that. If I need a job, I'm gonna get a fucking job. You can get a fucking job. If you're unemployed and you're acting like you can't get a job, you're, like I was saying earlier, take that fucking finger and point it at yourself. You can get a fucking job. Inside sales, making 100 calls a day. My insurance job, I used to have to cold call people, and I got some good stories from that too. I got yelled at, cursed at, all the time. I had this fucking lady tell me that she'd paid her bill one time, and she hadn't. So we had to, she sent me her bank statements and everything, you know, and she was like, I told you. So we went through all that shit. She hadn't paid. I made a bet with her. I didn't make her pay up on it, but I bet her $100. I said, I will pay your bill right now for the next month if you actually did pay your bill. Okay. So we went through all that shit. She hadn't paid. You know, I proved it. She sent me the evidence to prove her wrong. Fucking idiot. So I proved it, and then she shut the fuck up real quick because she thought she was going to have to give me $100. I told her no. She actually ended up being a really loyal customer after that. So you just got to treat people right and, you know, joke around with them and shit. All right, I'll tell one car story. This is pretty funny. I'm going to tell this car story though, and then we're going to end the stream. All right, so selling cars. What? I think I'm 24. Had this guy come in, piece of shit. Like, you know, this is the year 2014, maybe 15. Piece of shit like Plymouth, whatever, comes in like 1995. Fucking dash is cracked. I'm talking piece of shit. Dash cracked down the middle. Sputtering into the parking lot. So I worked at a Kia dealership. You know, we're gonna this guy in the car world, you know, we got a term for fucking poor people with no credit and shit like that. They're called bogues. So, you know, you don't want a fucking bogue on your lot because they're not a buyer. They're gonna waste your fucking time. You don't want somebody who can't buy a car. So number one thing, when somebody comes up to a car dealership, you know, the salesman's going to determine, can you buy a car or not? If you can't buy a car, then we'll get your ass out of there quick. Okay? Can I test drive? Nope, we're not doing that right now. Sorry, my manager said we're, you know, we can't do any test drives today because, you know, the cars are, you know, whatever. So it turned out, you know, this guy had, you call credit score a beacon. You know, he had I think a 5 or 610 beacon or something like that. He had a little bit of money with him. He wanted to trade in that piece of shit. He thought it was worth like $5,000. Shit wasn't worth $500. So we got him in a Kia. It's a Kia Rio. It's the shittiest Kia they have. Huge upgrade from what he had. I mean, this thing came with bumper to bumper, 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. You know, had a stereo that worked. Fuel efficient. Dash wasn't cracked. It didn't smell like dog shit like his car, and piss like his car did. But by the glory of God, we got this car deal done. okay? And this dude was leaving with a fucking brand new Kia Rio. It's a lot easier to sell a new car to somebody than a used one, by the way. More incentives and rebates, and blah, blah, blah. So Herschel, one of the detail guys who's super hood, and was one of my bros when I was there, me and him were tasked with driving this piece of fucking shit car down to the buy here, pay here dealership down the street. You know, we had a partnership with them. We'd take these old, you know, rust buckets over there and sell them to these guys. And, you know, we made a deal. We sold, you know, just get this fucking car, you know, off our lot. Like, this thing's an embarrassment. So this dude leaves in the Kia Rio or whatever. And a lot of times, you know, buyers, they have buyer's remorse, right? You know, because they'll come in and, you know, you don't sell them on price. You sell them on payment. You know, you come in, I'm not going to tell you, you know, hey, this is a $17,000 car. You're going to go, holy shit, that's a lot of money. I can't afford that. You know, so you're going to come in and I'm going to say, you know, this gets you in this car for $310 a month. You know, well, how many months finance is that? Oh, 72 months. No big deal. You know, well, I'm not buying a car for $310 a month. Fuck you. Well, look, you know, we've got your proof of income here, sir. And, you know, your car is worth, or you make $1,200 a month. And, you know, this is going to leave you $900 left to pay your bills and do this and that. So this is obviously something, you know, that can fit in your budget. You know, I understand that $310 a month is a lot for you. So, you know, right now, you know, we're going to flip that page over. Right now, you know, if you could have it your way, you know, what would you buy this car for? I want you to write that number down for me right now. Well, I'll get it. I'm going to get this car for $290 a month. All right. So write down right now, say $290 a month and sign your name under it. Okay. Take that to my sales manager. He go, all right, let's do it. Maybe he'd say, get that fucking bogue out of here. You know, but we did the deal. Miracle this dude got in the car. Okay. Miracle. He's a fucking bogue. So I still remember, you know, he's driving down the street or whatever. Obviously the payment was high or whatever. He's got buyer's remorse. You know, and so he's called, you know, I was his best friend when he left the dealership, but he's called my manager the next day and I'm the biggest piece of shit in the world that he's ever seen. And, you know, I'm a scam artist and I made him buy that car and I made him sign that paper. And, you know, just, it's all my fucking fault that he's signed a fucking contract and has a loan now. You know, like, fuck you, dude. It's not. Yesterday, you were like wanting to talk to, you wanted to have a beer with me. You want to talk to my manager and give him recommendations. And now you're calling saying I'm a fucking scammer. Fuck you. But I remember, so my manager, Phil, he said, yo, you know, Daniel, go get Herschel from detail and go get, you know, take my keys. You know, he's got a dealer car. Take my keys. Y'all get that piece of shit down to the buy here, pay here down the road. I said, all right. So I get Herschel and, you know, I'm like, yo, Herschel, you know, let's roll. And Herschel's like, all right, give me the keys to, you know, Phil's car. And I'm like, no, like, I'm driving Phil's car. You're driving the fucking hoopty. Man, fuck you. You know, but he drove the hoopty down there. And I look at my rearview mirror at one point because he was tailing me. And he wasn't there anymore. All of a sudden, my phone starts ringing. So, what's up? Transmission on the ground. I said, what? The transmission on the ground. I said, what? What are you talking about? Transmission on the ground. So the fucking transmission on this car had fallen out of the car on the way to the buy here, pay here. I rolled back around. He wasn't kidding. That shit was laying on the ground under the car. He pulled off the road. It was on the fucking ground under the car. So this guy, you know, it turned out that our finance manager had made a mistake on his contract. And he put the wrong VIN number there. So normally we would have told that guy, you know, you can go fuck yourself. But under this situation, we had to, you know, do a new contract because the finance manager fucked it up. And, you know, the finance manager, I don't know, he got in trouble or something. But the unfortunate thing was we had to return this guy's car to him. Well, sir, I hate to tell you, but, you know, that car you traded in, the fucking transmission's on the road. Like, that shit is smoked. Like, it doesn't work anymore. You can't drive it. You can't do shit. Well, that was our fault, too. You fucking idiots. I done drove that car for 200,000 miles and never had it. You drove like a beauty. Ain't never nothing wrong with it, you know. And we ended up had to take it back to the service. And I remember the guys in the service department, you know, there's that old meme, you know, that the used car dealership put sawdust on the engine, you know. And we pretty much did that. I mean, we Frankenstein this motherfucker back together. Got it barely driving. So we called him, you know, a couple days later. Hey, come get your fucking car. So he comes and gets his car. He's driving down the road. Phil, my manager, is driving home a day or two later. Sees a car on the side of the road. And it's this fucking dude's car on the side of the road. This shit had just broken down. It was just on the side of the road. So turns out that he should have kept that deal that we had gotten him. One of many great stories I have. I mean, there's some slimy people in the card business, and there's certainly some characters too. And that was the number one thing I miss about it was the people that I met there and their personalities, and because everybody, you know, nobody really wants to be selling fucking cars, you know, especially Kias. So everybody at the dealership, you know, was down in their luck or, you know, something, or just a career salesman, which is kind of like being down on your luck too. You know, you got fucking dudes that have been chiefing cigarettes for 50 years working there. But you know, it was a good experience. I wouldn't give up that experience for the world. I mean, it was a big part of you know, what made me who I am today. And you know, I think too, you know, that experience taught me a lot of patience and taught me a lot of tolerance for people. You know, and that tolerance and patience has served me well. Anyway, how do we get the best price in a car at a car dealership? Okay, we'll do this, and then I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. So, you know, there's people coming into a car dealership, right? And they think, you know, there's always that dude that comes in thinking that he's the shit at the car dealership because I'm paying cash. You know, well, fuck you. You're not the shit. We don't want you to pay cash for that car. The reason is when you finance that car, we make more money because not only do we make the margin on the car, you know, we can add points to your financing plan. What that means is that maybe the loan officer, you know, whoever we got the loan from, maybe they came back at 5%, or 4% or 3%. But you know, when we get you to sign the deal, you know, we say, you know, we're going to sell you this car today, and we get 3% or whatever. We're going to sell you this car today, and your payment's going to be $350 a month. Your financing rate is 4.5% per month. You know, here's all the terms, here's the prices, you know, blah blah blah. Okay, you know, we're going to sign it. So that's one of the ways that a dealer actually makes a lot of money in you. And a lot of times, you know, when you come in and they've given you $5,000 off the car, but you're financing it, they're going to fuck your ass. They're going to sell you a warranty, because that's another thing that they'll do to you. Well, I didn't want this warranty. Well, you know, you said that you'd buy this for $350 a month, and the price of the warranty is included at that price. Well, no, I don't want that. Fuck you. All right, fine, we'll take it out. You know, but most of the time, you know, hey, and we are gonna sell you this car. You know, here's your car, here's your payment, here's your interest rate, and you've got a warranty included at that price. Okay, pay attention to the words. You've got a warranty included at this price. Well, what's the price without the warranty? Oh, well, that's $320. Okay, well, I want that. Well, you know, sir, it's $30 more a month, and you've got this extended warranty. And you know, what if this happens? And you know, you got to crush the objections. But anyway, most dealerships right now are migrating to a model where they have fair pricing, is what they're calling it. And what that essentially means is that, you know, the car business in the olden days, a lot of times people were paid on commission. Well, now they're migrating to a model where you're paid on the number of units you sell, which is how my dealership worked. But a lot of car dealerships, the salesmen were incentivized to sell you that car for as much money as they could possibly get out of you. I mean, maybe the car's worth 30, or maybe the sticker is 35 on it. Ford is, I mean, just notorious for having huge markups on their cars. But the number one thing that some dealerships are going to try to do to you is they're going to try to sell you that car for more than it's worth. And a lot of times people don't realize, you know, hey, the sticker on this car is 50, but the dealership's cost is 35, and there's a ton of wiggle room in there. Never be the dealership's bitch, for one. you know, if you go in to buy a car, I know it's really exciting to have that new car experience and be around a new vehicle, but you have to have in your head 100% and have the conviction to say, if I don't get the deal that I want, I'm getting the fuck out of here right now. And you got to mean it too. You know, if they say, you know, oh well, I'm sorry, sir, because this is what they're going to do. You know, it's a common sales tactic. We're going to hold that steak in front of you. It's delicious. We're going to give you a piece. Oh, isn't it so good? Oh yeah. Oh my God, I need this. Right? I can't live without this. They've already told you, you know, they've put these visions in your head. You know, they've told you, you know, can't you imagine just, you know, driving your daughter to school in this? Yeah, that'd be a wow. So you've got these people that are already making these emotional connections, and you've instilled those emotional connections in them and these vehicles. So the whole thing there is don't let yourself get emotionally connected, you know, because a good salesman at a car dealership is going to put those visions in your head and is going to make you think about, you know, you and your family in this car, you know, you with your fucking dirt bike in the bed of this pickup truck, you with your mountain bike in the hood of this car, you know, whatever. You can't let them get to you in that way because, you know, a lot of times too, you know, they built some rapport with you and you don't want to let them down, you know, oh, well, I feel obligated to buy the car now, you know, if somebody came in and they're my best bro by the time that they were leaving, you know, maybe that they really didn't want to buy a car, but maybe they're too pussy to tell me they don't want to. So I'm going to say sign here and they're going to go, oh, okay, sure, I'll do it. You have to be ready to walk the fuck away. And this is with any sales, encounter. You know, if you've got a salesman, you know, our job is to fucking close you. You know, we want you to say yes and sign the paper. And here's the thing, because it's awkward to just, for a lot of people, it's really awkward to just be like, you know what, man, nah, I'm out of here. Because that's kind of an alpha move. And most people aren't going to be like that. You know, most people are going to be awkward about it. And they're going to want to sit around and they're going to want to do the decent thing and they're going to want to continue to talk to you. You can't be that guy. You have to be ready to say, man, all right, man, well, you know, I hate that we couldn't do business. You know, I got your number and everything. I'll hit you up. Oh, well, come back. No, I'm good. You know, start walking out. Maybe they chase you out the door. Well, hey, okay. Well, look, man, you got one more shot. Let me see what you got. Or, you know, if it's not what I want, I'm out of here. You got to be ready to fucking dip if that happens. But, you know, the main thing is these guys are trained to crush objections. No is not an answer. When you say no, you're going to say, why? And you're going to say, well, you know, that just, I don't, you know, my old car, you know, I know it's 10 years old, but it's a good car. And, you know, it's this and that. Well, let me ask you something. Because you yourself admitted it's 10 years old, so it's out of warranty, right? Well, yeah. Well, you know, cars at your mileage, they tend to have issues. You know, what if something were to happen and you owed, you know, $5,000 for a new transmission or this or that? You know, would you be able to afford that right now? No, I wouldn't. Well, can you afford a $350 car payment right now? Well, yeah. Well, doesn't it make sense to do something nice for your wife and for you and your family and, you know, get in this new vehicle and not have to worry about anything happening to the car, and, you know, which would put your family in a bad situation, and go ahead and get in this new car? Well, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. All right, we'll sign right here. It's crushing an objection. So the number one thing is, you know, you can't give these guys objections. Your objection is no. Don't tell them why. Well, why? Because I don't want it. Because that's not the deal I want. And if they're not willing to play ball, you got to be willing to get up and get out. So that's how you're going to get a good deal on a car. Also, me, doesn't matter how rich I ever get, I'm never, ever, ever going to buy a new car. There's a lot less margin in used cars. So you don't have to worry so much about getting fucked in a used car. Don't go into the dealership and say, well, Kelly Blue Book says that this car is worth this. You know what the dealer's going to tell you? Well, we're not Kelly Blue Book. Kelly Blue Book isn't buying your car, or Kelly Blue Book isn't selling you this car. We're selling you this car, not Kelly Blue Book. If you want that price, you go talk to Kelly Blue Book. Oh, well, they don't sell cars. Exactly. You can't do those mental gymnastics with a car dealer. Going there, TrueCar is something that's accepted often. If you guys have heard of TrueCar.com, you can go there with a TrueCar price, and you can say, well, you know, this is the price I'm willing to pay, and that's typically a pretty good price. Or if you have a friend in the car biz that has access to a black book, you can go see the true fair value, you know, for that car. for what it's been going for. But if you can pay cash, do that, but don't go in there and being swaggy about it, and don't advertise the fact that you have cash like that makes you somebody, you know, at the beginning of the car deal, because they're immediately going to say, oh, fuck, you know, we can't make any money off this guy on the credit side. Negotiate that price or whatever and shit like that. Wait to tell them that you're paying cash for as long as you possibly can. And that's going to be advantageous to you. And just like I said, you need to be able to tell them what price you're going to want to pay for that car. You know, you don't want to accept these 72-month you know, offers or anything like that. You can get a lot better credit than that if you want to finance it. And if you don't want to finance it, you know, and you want to pay cash, that's fine. But just know that paying cash is going to get you a better deal. I mean, 9 times out of 10. And buying used is going to get you a good deal. And 2, I think that if you buy a used car, there's a lot less chance of it being a lemon, because somebody's already driven it, you know, and you can look at the Carfax and see the history, what am I trying to say? The maintenance history and stuff like that. And if you've got a car and you're buying low miles used, you know, 10,000 miles on it, something like that, and it's got, you know, barely any maintenance history or anything like that on it, you know it's a good car. You know, you buy a new car, you might be getting a lemon. And you might be the dude that's about to say, you know, y'all sold me a lemon. And they're going to say, what? Hate it. You know, that's what you got a warranty. Is it covered under warranty? You know, well, yeah, it is. Well, all right, go talk to the service department. Something like that. But, yeah, whew. Man, oh man. Never did I thought we were going to be doing a tutorial on that. Maybe we'll do a stream on sales, you know, if you guys are ever interested in that. You know, we can do a stream on closing techniques and rapport building techniques, and you know, we can talk about crushing objections and stuff like that. You know, while I love computer science, and you know, I'm good at networking and things like that. You know, the best thing that I've ever, or the most innate skill, you know, that I have, the best thing that I've ever done and I'm most natural at is sales. It just came very, very easily to me. It's just not, you know, maybe I would enjoy selling, maybe I would enjoy selling something higher end, you know, but you know, sales is not, even though I'm really good at it, it's not like that mentally stimulating to me. It is a rush though. Let me tell you, like if you close somebody, like after all that work, like shit's like drugs. But yeah, if you're ever going to a car dealership, guys, just, you know, don't, because here's the thing, a lot of times too, like this happened to my dad, like they didn't even have the car he wanted and his ass left with the car he didn't want. And now he acts like he loves it. Cope, you know. But those guys are trained assassins. They'll shut your ass down. You know, any kind of objection, you're fucked. If you're gonna be the guy that objects, then you're a fucking car deal. You know, we've already closed you. You just don't know it yet. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for being here. I think it was a great episode, and you know, we're gonna do another stream sometime mid next week. You know, we did our secondary stream on Friday last week. This next stream is going to be more chill, you know. And last time I played Star Wars Squadrons, and we you know, we just kicked it and played Star Wars Squadrons and talked a little bit about the game and crypto and stuff like that. That's what these midweek streams are going to be. They're going to be a little bit more chill. You know, as somebody put it, you know, Sunday is church. It's time to be serious. But during the week, we'll cut up and have a little bit of fun, and you know, we can see what's up with that. Some of the other Hxro Labs guys, you know, we're going to be streaming some Modern Warfare and shit like that. So we're probably going to be doing some combo streams with them and stuff like that. If you guys aren't following the other Hxro Labs content, you're really missing out. It's some really, really good shit. But anyway, thanks for being here, guys. It means a lot to me. And until next time, adios.